Hey guys, this is Tresa. I'm back in my kitchen, my messy, under construction kitchen, and I am making a recipe. I have all these pears, right? So I've been finding all these great recipes. So I modified this recipe for chocolate chip pear cookies, and I'm making it grain-free, and so I wanted to show you what I'm doing. So I started with butter, which I actually melted just for ease of things. That way I don't have to use the mixer. So I don't have the best set up yet, so we're going to go with it this way. All right, and so what I've done is I've added coconut sugar. It's much lower glycemic on the glycemic index, so it's just a healthier sugar. I like to use that sometimes in baking. Sometimes I'll use maple syrup or honey, but this recipe called for some white sugar and brown sugar, so I thought that the coconut sugar would give it that really good flavor. So I've got, and then I added 2 farm fresh eggs that I have, and mixing that up, and then I've got almond flour and arrowroot powder to help stabilize when you're not using flour, like, you know, all-purpose flour, or using something like almond flour. It just helps it to kind of stay together a little bit better. So I've added arrowroot powder and a pinch of salt and some baking powder, and mixing this all up until it's well combined. And this is where the experiment part comes in. It might be a little soft, but I think it's still going to be really yummy. And I might need to use my whisk to get some of the lumps out. And so I do really love using almond flour to bake with. I modify a lot of recipes and add and use almond flour. Sometimes I'll mix something else with almond flour. Excuse the banging for a second. I just want to get the extra batter off my whisk. All right. So this is looking really good. Here we go. There's my batter. Now, I've got a pear, and this looks like a lot of pear, but we're going to go with it. And I'm going to put the pear in like that, and some chocolate chips. You can use semi-sweet, you can use like a bittersweet, or a I mean, you could use an unsweetened if you wanted to. I like to use dark chocolate chips when I can, if I have them on hand. And this looks like a really, really nice batter. So I am going to just pull it all together. And it looks great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cookie scoop. And I'm going to grab my baking sheet. Let me just swap out a couple things here so I have room for it. I'm not working on the kitchen counter quite yet, as you can see. All right, so I put parchment on the baking sheet. And I've got my oven preheated and ready to go. So I'm just going to take a scoop, and I'll show you this before it does seem to be a little bit of a soft batter, but it looks like it's going to be delicious, so we'll see. I remember my mother always used to like to try new recipes, and she often did it when she had guests coming over. And my grandmother used to get so mad at her and say, "You can't try new recipes on guests." She'd say, "Why? They don't mind. If it doesn't work, we'll order something. Or we'll cook hamburgers," or whatever. She was so much fun and easygoing, and just made life so fun. All right, so here are my cookies on the cookie sheet, ready to go. And there you have it. I'm going to pop them in the oven and I will come back and show you the finished product in a little while. Hey there, I'm back with cookies. I wanted to show you the cookies. They're yummy. I have a whole tin full and they really came out quite delicious. I realized in the process of editing this video that the clip that I took showing you when I was taking them out of the oven actually didn't work. So I wanted to finish up this video by sharing with you what the cookies look like. They're really quite yummy. I tried a couple different versions and I will share that with you guys in the recipe, which you'll be able to access if you subscribe to my newsletter. But what I did was I tried a little more arrowroot powder in a second batch, made them a little cakier. Initially, they were a little bit crispier when they first came out of the oven, but they all softened up about the same. So it's really a matter of if you like them a little cakier or if you like them a little chewier. And I'll share both of those. I will tell you that I have reheated these in the oven, just warmed them a little bit. I've been keeping them cool in the refrigerator because with all the pears in the recipe, it makes them really moist. And when a cookie is that moist, they can mold quickly. So I've been keeping them in the refrigerator. You could freeze them and reheat them. They'd be great for that. Or I would say make them and serve them. They were definitely best first day, but they're still really delicious. Cold, I've been munching on them. So that was the thing. I sat down to edit the video so that I could get it up here on YouTube for you guys. And I thought, oh, well, let me munch on the cookies while I'm editing with a cup of tea, right? And I sat down and I realized that that video didn't work. So I wanted to hop on as I was in this process and just show you the cookies. They're really, really yummy, I have to say. They're actually quite sweet considering I only used a little bit of sugar. I think the pear, the right pear, made them really sweet. And there's not a ton of chocolate chips, but just enough to give it a little bit of that chocolate flavor. And they really came out delicious. So I hope that you enjoy them. And like I said, if you want the recipe, subscribe to my newsletter and you can get it that way. Have a great day. God bless.